Okay, now to Trey Gowdy, host of Sunday Night in America, former House Oversight Committee chairman and former federal prosecutor. Trey, great to see you. I want to ask you about this Thursday hearing that we know is coming up. There have been articles written in the last few days that are citing, they claim, senior sources within the DOJ. If those are happening, are they unauthorized leaks? Are they authorized leaks? I mean, do they serve against the DOJ's argument to keep that affidavit sealed?
Yeah, Shannon, if I'm the judge, I'm kind of wondering how come reporters for the Times and the Post can know what's in the affidavit, but the target or putative defendant cannot? That's a great question. I hope the judge asks it. When you use the word authorized or unauthorized, I mean, the FBI and DOJ love to play this kind of tap dance where their policy is not to discuss or even confirm the existence of an investigation, but I learned the 8 years I was there, they leak like sieves. I mean, they leak like junior high school kids. So we'll see if they get put under oath, whether the judge asks whether or not the Bureau or the department is doing any of the leaking. But if I can say this, Shannon, I mean, look, Brett Tolman, a lot better lawyer than I ever thought about being, but the practice in the Southern District of Florida, if you look at the U.S. Attorney's published practice, they routinely make the affidavit available. I mean, it's in writing. If the defendant has a reason for it, we routinely make the underlying affidavit available. Now, look, this is DOJ and not the Southern District of Florida, but there's certainly precedent for releasing the affidavit.
Okay, so for now, it looks like the Trump legal team is not formally going to get involved. This involves third parties like the New York Times, like Judicial Watch, and other local media outlet that are pushing for this information. The message I've heard so far from the Trump legal team is we're not going to get directly involved, but the president, the former president, is calling, yes, it's time, let's release this thing. So not getting involved in the actual legal proceedings, but they say they're supportive of it. Does that say anything to you?
Yeah, I mean, they better have thought this through, because I think the best argument is he's not a defendant. I don't think he's ever going to be a defendant, but he certainly was the object of the search warrant. And if there was privileged material taken, if there was an overly broad search, then he uniquely has standing. I mean, the media has standing for a different reason, but the person impacted by the search uniquely has standing. So I am sure his legal team has thought this through. If I'm the judge, I think the best argument for releasing the affidavit actually comes from the person impacted by the search and not the New York Times.
All right, I want to play something from John Bolton. This is obviously a top former national security advisor to President Trump. He was an ambassador. Here's what he says about how this is all playing out.
I think we've got to distinguish between the legal battle that's going on and the political battle. I think the Justice Department position sounds perfectly reasonable on the legal battle, but on the political battle, I think they're being overwhelmed by Donald Trump. You know, if we were in a Coliseum with two gladiators, one of them Donald Trump, the other Merrick Garland, we'd be about to witness the slaughter of the lambs.
Okay, so Trey, of course, two very different tracks here. We've got the legal stuff, the court battle, but there's this battle of public opinion. And as long as the Attorney General doesn't come forward, Director Wray from the FBI doesn't come forward and give us more, it's allowing the former president and his legal team to steer the conversation about what's happening.
Yeah, nature abhors a vacuum, Shannon. You and I learned that in equity class. And right now the vacuum is many of us recall a biased FBI agent leading the investigation into alleged Russia collusion. Many of us recall that they gave the questions to Secretary Clinton before they even interviewed her. They made up their mind that they weren't going to charge her before they even interviewed her. So, look, in a perfect world, Ambassador Bolton's right. Politics and the law never intersect. But that world was turned upside down about 6 years ago. Remember, Jim Comey said, I tried something with a Republican White House that I never would have tried with Barack Obama. And then he laid back and soaked up the applause of the audience. So, yeah, I would love for the FBI and department to not have been politicized. But I got to get in a time machine and go back 6 years for that to happen.
Yeah, and quickly, because of your experience on Capitol Hill, we have a number of folks from both sides of the aisle saying we've got the relevant security clearances to see what you've got and why you went after this, the documents in question. They want a briefing, or they wanted some intel from the FBI. Do you think they'll get it?
I do not. The FBI and DOJ never update members of Congress about ongoing investigations. It's stunning to me that reporters for the Times and the Washington Post can get that information, but the chairs of the Intel Committee cannot. So I don't think they're going to get it.
Somebody is talking. All right, Trey, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations to you. I'm surprised to see you working. It's not Sunday morning, but congratulations to you.
Thank you, Trey. You know, all of us around here at Fox, we work 24/7. We love what we do.
I know.
Thank you, Trey.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.